Dear learners, welcome back. Greetings of the day. So, today we are on the last lecture of the 7th week of the course Digital Marketing Strategy. So, in the week 7, we are discussing about the various issues in digital marketing, and we have talked about the data privacy and security issues, we have talked about the legal issues, and various other issues we have talked. And in the last lecture, if you remember, we also have talked about a very stringent law which have been proposed by India and it has been adopted by India, that is Digital Personal Data Protection Act 2023. In the last lecture, that is lecture number 5, we would be specifically focusing on the social issues related to digital marketing. We know that any business, it is a part of the society and it takes benefits from the society and it also serves the society. So, it is very integral part of the society and the actions of any company that is going to affect the society as well. So, the social issues, that is why it is very important to discuss the various facets, the various aspects of social issues related with the digital marketing. We know that social issues, they are also closely linked with the culture and the everyday life, the well-being, the lifestyle of the users, the consumers. The key factors that make up these forces are social communication, that is how the society interacts based on the demographic profile, social exclusion and the cultural factors. So, we know that the society behaves in a particular way and every society is at certain level. So, as a marketer, we need to understand the various facets of society, the culture, the rituals of any society. So, as I have said, the business is considered to be the integral part of the society. Their actions, they have the social implications of the society and also they are affected by the actions of society as well. So, there is a thorough, there is a continuous interaction between the actions of the society as well as the business, and they are going to affect each other. Some of the actions of the businesses, they create certain social concerns like social exclusion, materialism, unmindful consumption, impulsive buying, something related to those. On other hand, they also are active in doing social marketing related to some cause, maybe say poverty alleviation, education, environment, healthcare and all those aspects. So, we see that on one side the actions of the digital marketers, the actions of the businesses, they are causing harm to the society to some level, and also on the other hand we see that the companies, the digital marketers, they are involved in doing social marketing actively. So, in this particular lecture we would be focusing on the first aspect, that is the social concerns that are caused by the digital marketing, and probably in the coming week some of the lectures we would be specifically talking about the various concepts of social marketing, and probably we will be highlighting some examples from the current scenario. So, there are certain social concerns that I would be specifically talking about. I would be taking 4-5 example, 4-5 social concerns that are actually very serious and any marketer should pay heed to that. First is social exclusion. So, what does it mean? So, it is when a part of the society is excluded or derived of the facilities available to the remainder. So, the one part of the society is getting benefited from one aspects, another part is not getting benefited. So, the part which is not getting benefited, it is considered to be experiencing social exclusion. So, consumers' feelings of social exclusion can also be triggered by the mix of marketing tools such as being rejected as a VIP member or unintentionally ignored by some salesperson or the services. For example, you must have heard about gold membership, you have heard about privilege membership, you have heard about priority pass. So, they are being provided based on certain spendings being done, certain characteristics of the consumers. Maybe he is a frequent shopper, maybe he is spending some amount of time, or maybe the person have spent some few extra bucks on having the gold membership. Now, what you are doing, so it is possible that not everyone can afford a priority pass or a privilege membership expenses or something like that, but on that basis the businesses, they are discriminating the consumer. Now, probably that you might have an opinion that that is something is called business, but again it is something which affects the psychology of the consumer. So, probably a consumer may not be in a position to afford that, but if you are not giving him the benefits you are giving to some other priority your privileged member, then probably that creates a negative impression, a negative marketing. So, that is something which is a very serious issue, and this goes very silently and we even do not think about it. We think that this is something which is okay and this is something which is as usual, it is a routine thing, this is all about business. But there, if you think from the perspective of sociology, if you think from the perspective of psychology, then probably you will feel that this is something which is not okay from the point of view of the societal aspects. Similarly, digital minimalism, what is this? So, it is a way to engage consumer technology that prioritized focused intentional use of technology to limit distraction. So, how you are going to minimize the use of digital aspects? So, what is happening today? So, everything, every information, every offers, it is being offered on the digital platform. Now, the consumer, the user, they are hooked to their phone, be it some social media notification, be it some email. So, every time the person is hooked with his or her phone. So, that causes distraction and something that is something which is very serious. We are totally relied on the technology and it it takes away the focus of person from the work that is doing. So, digital minimalism is a strategy to help people optimize their use of technology and keep from being overwhelmed by it. So, every time this is happening, and actually this is happening, this is something which we all experience. We cannot we cannot be away from our mobile phone for a minute, and even if whenever there is a notification, there is immediate urge to see our phone to look what notification is all about. And if you get some good offers, if you get some coupons, probably immediately there is another urge, that is about impulsive buying. So, that is something which is a problem, which is very serious. So, digital minimalism in digital marketing, it focuses on reducing waste in digital campaigns. So, the companies, they are wasting so much resources also on digital campaigns, and it also about optimizing the resources and creating content that truly resonates with the audience. Now, what is happening? There is information overload. We sometimes visit certain website, there might be only few information and otherwise there is full of irrelevant advertisement, they are full of hyperlinks, backlinks, all those things would be there. Actual message would be very less. The actual content, the relevant content would be very less, and the all other unnecessary things like advertisement, which is not probably relevant at that point of time, but it is there. So, that is something, again it create information overload, and same thing happens with email spamming. We sometimes get so many notifications, so many emails from the advertiser, from the marketer, that we actually skip or we actually forget to see the genuine emails in the sense the relevant emails, and that is something it is something which is very serious issue. Then again, digital addiction, that is, it is an umbrella term incorporating subtypes of long standing problem of internet addiction. So, we are now, as I have said, hooked to our phones. We cannot we cannot take a moment away from internet. If internet is down, probably if you see the youngster, the Gen Z, even if the internet is down for say few minutes, they immediately they have their anxiety, and it is something that they don't have anything to do. So that is something which is related to internet addiction. The highly discussed issue of game addiction. So again, this is something which is nowadays very popular, and now every then and now we see on newspapers and televisions, we see the news of game addiction and how it is impacting the psyche of the childrens. They are hooked to these gamings, and they are playing games on a long stretch, and they are not paying heed to what their parents are saying, what their teachers are saying, what their elders are saying, and they are completely cut off from the whole family, and they are simply hooked into their mobile phones. So that is something which is very serious from the point of view of sociological aspects or psychological aspects. And also the emerging topic of social media addiction. Social media addiction, yet another serious addiction that we are having. So every now and then we are forced to see the updates. We post anything, and again we try to see how many people have seen it, how many people have read it, how many people have liked it, how many people have commented it. And even this is something which is happening. The youngsters, there are few people, the users, they become depressed if they don't get likes or they don't get comments. So that is something which is happening, and even if it is not very much prominent, if it is not very much visible, it is happening, and it is affecting the lives of the users, and they are going into depressions and all. And other digital media addictions are happening. So all these type of addictions, be it internet addiction, game addiction, social media addiction, or shopping addiction, all these things is happening, and this is something which is very, very true. The consumption of digital media services such as online streaming services, online video games, social media, this has become omnipresent to everyday's life. Increased consumer consumption has given rise to phenomenon digital addiction, which has emerged as a prominent overconsumption consequences. So it has got very serious consequences on the psychological aspect, on the depression, on the minds of the users. This is something which is very very unique, and again this is something, it is a marketing concept also. It is a very contemporary marketing concept, that is FOMO. You must have heard about it, fear of missing out, fear of missing out marketing. So from the perspective of digital marketers, from the perspective of marketers, this is one marketing tactic which take the advantage of this emotion, where the user, where the shopper, they fear that they have missed out, the opportunity to shop something, to get the benefit of the offer. So that is something called fear of missing out, FOMO. So FOMO marketing, it capitalizes the people's fear of missing out to drive consumer engagement, urgency and action. So it plays with the emotion, it plays with the fear of the person, and it creates a sense that consumers are immediately they get engaged, they take it very urgent, and immediately they take some action. So it typically includes messaging that triggers your target audience innate fear of missing out. So such messages could be intriguing, such messages could trigger the fear of missing out. So the marketers, what they do, they create a sense of exclusivity, scarcity and time limited opportunities. So what is happening, I would share my experience. So I have this car insurance, and it is supposed to expire on around mid of the May, and this is April, and I am getting calls every day, almost every day I am getting calls that your car insurance is going to expire. But I said it is going to expire, there is almost 1 month is left, but they say sir, you will miss out the discount that we have. So if you buy the car insurance now, as in if you renew your insurance, you will get this particular discount. Now probably if I have that anxiety of fear of missing out, probably I will immediately go, okay, I should not miss this discount offer. So we need to understand this aspect. Sometimes it is given, many offers are being given. So that is something which is where the marketers, they play with the emotions. So FOMO marketing, they taps into the emotional response triggered by the potential loss of a valuable experience. So probably it will come into my mind, okay, if I wait for another 1 month, if I wait for the expiry date to nearby, so it might happen that I may lose the discount, and that is discount might be probably few hundred rupees, but still the point is we do not calculate so much. So FOMO marketing can be a powerful tool to drive engagement and sales. However, it can backfire also. It can backfire if it is not handled responsibly, leading to consumers mistrust and negative brand perception. So what happens, you say as a marketer, you say that this is a limited time offer, and every day you are saying it is a limited time offer. So it means it is unlimited time offer, right? So as a consumer, what would be your understanding? You would immediately develop mistrust, you would develop negative brand perception. So the marketer, they should try to think in that perspective as well. Similarly, impulsive buying. So I was talking about impulsive buying. This is again a very serious issue. Sometimes what happens, specifically this is happening on online shopping. So online shopping, what is happening, we get so many offers, we get so many options, that it becomes a tendency to visit the online shopping apps, and sometimes for no reason we actually buy. Probably the need, we do not have current need, but still we buy. That is something which also happens when we visit some shopping supermarket or something like that. So even if we don't need it right now, we are going to buy it. So impulsive buying is something which is very prevalent in online shopping. So because digital marketers have tried to make those digital marketing campaigns that pushes you to buy, that pushes you to impulse buy. So what impulsive buying is actually? So it is a tendency of customer to buy goods and services without planning in advance. So I haven't planned about buying the product. I don't have any plan that okay, I will buy this particular product. But when I go to the shopping apps, what I see, okay, there is some offer or there is some discount I can avail with this particular card, with this particular credit card. So that is something, so I haven't planned, I haven't even provisioned for the budget also. But since I have the card, I have the facility to pay it later, so I will immediately buy. So that is something called impulsive buying. So when a customer takes such buying decisions at the spur of the moment, it is usually triggered by emotions and feelings. So impulsive buying is something which is triggered by the emotions and feeling. So as a marketer, when you tweak, when you play with the emotions and the feelings of the customer in such a way that you can leverage the benefit in favor of your product, in favor of your brand, then that is something which is unethical and that is something not socially acceptable. So impulsive buying again is a very serious problem. So it is about unplanned purchase, it is based on irrational thinking. So when you go for impulsive buying, you don't think so much. You don't think about whether I actually need this product or not, whether I have provisioned for this product or not, whether this product is actually useful for me or not. So we don't actually think of all those things. We just see, okay, we are getting it at such discounted price. Probably I will not get this opportunity again. I will immediately buy it. So even though I am not in a need of that particular product, I will buy it. So marketers, they try to tap this behavior of the customers to boost sales. So there is a great likelihood that customer end up making a purchase of product after entering the hypermarket without actually intent of doing so. So I gave the example of hypermarket, supermarket, and such is also happening with digital marketing also. So there are many researchers which have established that digital marketing actually leads to impulsive buying. So there is a well established researchers are there which have established this relationship that digital marketing that actually pushes for impulsive buying. Consumerism is yet another important economic theory, and this is something which is a very traditional theory, I would rather say. Nowadays we talk about mindful consumption, we talk about sustainable consumption. So consumerism is a concept which is quite old, and it is something we started with. So what does it mean? It argues that the interest of consumers should be the most important factor in the business transactions. So the businesses should do only those transactions which are in the best interest of the consumers. So in other words, it is an ideology that places value on the excessive consumption of material goods and services. So it talks about how people are moving towards materialism, how they are moving towards excessive consumption of material goods and services. So there are various theories which talk about that people tend to buy so many products that they actually need. So nowadays, what is the fashion, what is the trend nowadays? You know, we tend to follow the celebrities. You know, we don't the celebrities, they don't repeat their costumes, they don't repeat, even if it's a daily wear, if they are in public, they don't repeat their clothings. So as a common person, if I am trying to do the same thing, is it feasible? So even if we are not trying to copy them, but still we are making sure that we should have at least 10 pairs of shoes, at least 20 pairs of jeans. So that is something which is not necessary. We should be mindful about the overconsumption. We should be mindful about the sustainable consumptions. So if you consume excessively, then it is going to hurt the coming generation. It is like using or exploiting the resources. See, there is a very good point that it does not mean that you have the ability to pay. It does not gives you an opportunity to excessively exploit anything. This is well understood that you can afford 20 pairs of jeans, but that does not mean that you should do it, because that resources is not only for you, that could be used for some other person. So that a lot of efforts are being used, not a lot of natural resources are being used. So that is the main theory behind consumerism. So the definition of consumerism in general sense is the obsession of the public with goods and services, especially with goods and items that they cannot afford. Even if you are not in a position to afford that, you tend to buy it. So probably I will give you very best example of buying and owning the car. So car in a middle class family is something which is a matter of prestige. So even if I am not in a situation, even if there is no need of such thing, but still we tend to buy a car, because car for a middle class family is a symbol of status. Even if I am not in a position to afford iPhones, I would probably buy iPhones. So there is data which says that most of the iPhones, they are bought on EMI system. Most of the cars nowadays are bought on EMI system. So right now I am not in a position to actually afford a car, but still, since I have to maintain that status, that false status maybe, but still I have to maintain that. So I will go ahead, even though I cannot afford it, even though I don't need it, I will go ahead and I will buy that particular product. So that is something called materialism, that is something called consumerism. So in economics, the consumerism is seen as a force that create drastic spikes in purchasing. So it is, consumerism is against the concept and practice of mindful consumption or the sustainable consumption that I have been talking about, that I have been pointing about. So in many of the countries, specifically in Japan, they follow the life of minimalism, where they will have very limited items in their house, they will have limited furnitures, they will have limited utensils, they will have limited clothings and all. So the new concept is developing and it is yet to be followed. So it might happen probably at one point of time when there happens to be something which is happening very excessively, then there happens to have a downfall. So probably we can reach to a point where we talk about minimalism, where we are going to buy only those things which are of urgent need. So moving ahead is the evils of social media. So this is the last point of the discussion. We know there are many evils of the social media. Social media is a very powerful platform, and there are many, it is obviously helps in socialization and all those things, but again there are obviously the evils of social media cannot be denied. So let us have an understanding of social media, and I think most of us are well versed with social media, and we are well versed that how there are various concerns related to social media. So social media, though it has many benefits, it can pose serious risks to people's mental and physical health. Young people are especially at high risk of loneliness, depression and other negative effects. So when you are excessively using social media, you tend to have, though you might have thousand and thousand friends on your social media platform, but in actual you might not have a friend with whom you can have a few minutes of time, with whom you can spend some time, because your all socialization is only on a digital platform. And this is going to be more severe when we are going to have metaverse and all those VR and all those things. So people will sit at their home only and they will socialize on various online medias. So that is something is going to create loneliness, and over the period of time it is going to create depression. Social medias are the platform where people, they only try to post the good things about themselves. They don't post the efforts they put in getting something. They don't post the problems they have faced. They only post the good things. So it has got an impact on the others. So youngsters, what they do, they see the only good things and they compare with themselves, and they feel that how loser I am. So that is again which affects the psyche of the users. It may be worth considering to ration social media use, or if it is possible to avoid it altogether. So the evils of social media, it includes cyber bullying, spread of misinformation, and this is something which is very serious, the misinformation. And the misinformation, it tends to become viral on social medias. So this is something, again it is it is very difficult for people to understand which information is actually true. So it is up to you that how you try to understand whether the information is correct or not, and before sharing you should be sure about the information. So apart from the cyber bullying and the spread of miscommunication, misinformation, there is social media addiction, decline in the face-to-face communication, self-esteem issues. As I have said, people tend to see the achievements of others and they compare with their life and they feel as a loser. So there is a self-esteem issues, social isolation is there, polarization is there, polarization on various bases, on the basis of religion sentiments, on the basis of political sentiments. So there is polarization. Echo chambers is like your own set of closed opinion, so that you have a very closed opinion, very limited opinion, because you are into one set of peoples whom you are having interaction with, and that limits your thought. You believe what that particular society says, what that particular set of people says. So your thought process is only limited to that aspect only. So that is something called echo chambers. Cyber stalking, cyber harassments, decrease in privacy, comparison and envy, all these things are the evils of the social media. And when as a marketer we are advertising on these platforms, we are actually putting catalyst to to make the reaction more severe. So, as a digital marketer, we should be mindful about this aspect. We should have a proper clarity that what are the social concerns, and as a marketer we should avoid such things. As a marketer, we should not go for sentimental aspects of impulsive buying. As a marketers, we should be mindful. So, I hope I have made clarity on this topic. I hope we have learned something which is relevant. I hope you have enjoyed the class. Thank you so much. We will meet again into the next week of the lecture. Thank you so much. Have a nice day.